Few figures in history loom as large as Genghis Khan, the founder of the Mongol Empire and among the most consequential conquerors of all time. Yet, for all that is known about his life, his rise from obscurity, his military genius, and his creation of a vast transcontinental empire, one of the most basic facts about his death remains unresolved. No one knows where he's buried. More than 800 years after his death in 1227, the location of Genghis Khan's tomb remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in archaeology and history. This enduring mystery is not due to lack of interest or effort. On the contrary, historians, archaeologists, explorers, and even satellite assisted researchers have searched for the tomb for decades. The reason it has never been found lies in a unique combination of deliberate secrecy, cultural reverence, conflicting historical accounts, and the vast rugged terrain of Mongolia itself. Hello, everyone. Giant Stonehead here. If you enjoy obscure science and forgotten history, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And now, join me in the search for Genghis Khan's lost tomb. Even the circumstances of Genghis Khan's death are unclear. Historical sources provide only minimal detail. The Primarian Mongolian Chronicle, The Secret History of the Mongols, simply say that in 1227 he ascended to heaven, offering no specifics about how he died. Later accounts and theories vary wildly. Some suggest he died from injuries sustained in battle, others claim he fell from a horse, and still others propose illness, possibly even the bubonic plague. What is more certain is that immediately after his death, extraordinary measures were taken to conceal his burial. These efforts would lay the foundation for the mystery that persists to this day. The most famous stories surrounding Genghis Khan's burial emphasize extreme secrecy. According to long-standing legends, the funeral procession that carried his body back to Mongolia killed anyone who crossed its path to prevent knowledge of the route from spreading. Other accounts go even further, claiming that those who buried him were themselves killed afterwards, ensuring that no living person knew the location of the tomb. Additional legends describe elaborate efforts to hide the gravesite. One story claims that thousands of horses were driven over the burial ground to erase all traces of disturbance. Another suggests that a river was diverted to flow over the tomb, making it impossible to locate. While historians caution that many of these tales are likely exaggerated or symbolic rather than factual, they reflect a consistent theme: the deliberate concealment of the Khan's final resting place. The secrecy surrounding Genghis Khan's burial is not merely practical, it was deeply rooted in Mongolian culture and belief systems. Many scholars believe the hidden burial was intentional, designed to protect the Khan's spirit and to prevent desecration by enemies. In Mongolian tradition, burial sites, especially those of important figures, could hold spiritual significance. Disturbing them might be seen as both disrespectful and dangerous. This cultural perspective continues to influence attitudes today, with many Mongolians opposing invasive efforts to locate or excavate the tomb. There is also a powerful symbolic element. Genghis Khan, who lived much of his life as a nomadic warrior, may have chosen a burial that reflected simplicity and anonymity rather than grandeur. Some scholars even suggest he may have been buried without a formal tomb at all, possibly simply wrapped in felt and placed directly in the earth, or given a form of sky burial where the body is left exposed to the elements. Despite the lack of a definitive evidence, historians and archaeologists have proposed several likely regions for Genghis Khan's burial. The most widely accepted theory places his tomb somewhere in northeastern Mongolia, near the Kentai Mountains. Within this region, one site stands out: Burkhan Khaldun, a sacred mountain deeply connected to Genghis Khan's life. According to historical events, he once sought refuge there during a time of trouble, and later declared it a place of great spiritual importance. Another closely associated area is the region near the Onan River, where Genghis Khan is believed to have been born and raised. There's also the concept of the Ilk Korig, or the Great Taboo, a huge, historically restricted area in Mongolia that is sometimes believed to contain not only Genghis Khan's tomb, but those of other Mongol rulers. This region was off limits for centuries, further fueling speculation that it may conceal something significant. Despite these theories, no confirmed burial site has ever been identified. In recent decades, researchers have turned to advanced technology in an effort to solve the mystery without disturbing sacred land. One notable project used high resolution satellite imagery combined with crowdsourcing to analyze vast areas of Mongolia. Thousands of volunteers examined satellite images, identifying anomalies that may indicate archaeological features. This effort led to the identification of dozens of potential sites, including burial grounds dating back to the Mongol Empire era. Another initiative, supported by researchers from the National Geographic Explorer, have used non invasive technologies such as ground penetrating radar, drones, and remote sensing to search for hidden structures beneath the landscape. These methods are particularly important because they allow scientists to explore without excavation, respecting cultural sensitivities while still attempting to advance knowledge. Even with modern technology, the search for Genghis Khan's tomb faces enormous practical challenges. Mongolia is vast, sparsely populated, and geographically diverse, with rugged mountains, dense forests, and expansive steppe landscapes. The Kentai region alone covers thousands of square miles, much of it remote and difficult to access. Harsh weather conditions and limited infrastructure further complicate exploration efforts. Additionally, the passage of more than 8 centuries means that any surface evidence of the tomb could have long since disappeared. Natural processes such as erosion, vegetation growth, permafrost could have effectively erased all visible traces. One of the most intriguing aspects of the mystery is the possibility that Genghis Khan's tomb may never be discovered, not because it cannot be found, but because it should not be found. Many Mongolians view the search for the tomb as unnecessary or even disrespectful. For them, Genghis Khan's legacy is not tied to a physical burial site, but to his role as a unifier, lawgiver, and cultural hero. There's also a dimension of the Khan's wishes to the mystery. The deliberate concealment of the tomb may have been intended as a final act of control by the Khan himself, ensuring that his resting place would remain undisturbed for all eternity. In this sense, the absence of a known tomb becomes part of his legacy, a reflection of his power and his enduring mystique. The mystery of Genghis Khan's tomb persists because it sits at the intersection of history, legend, culture, and science. Each of these elements contributes to the fascination with and the difficulty of solving this puzzle. Historically, the lack of reliable records leaves researchers with little concrete evidence. Legends provide vivid narratives but often conflict with one another, or they lack any kind of physical verification. Cultural values discourage intrusive investigation, limiting the scope of archaeological work, and the physical landscape itself presents formidable obstacles. Together, these factors create a perfect storm of uncertainty, one that has kept the location of the tomb hidden for over 8 centuries. But what do you think? Have you heard of the mystery of Genghis Khan's tomb before this video? Would you like to hear about more lost tombs of ancient rulers? If you want my 2 cents, I think it's pretty obvious that Genghis Khan didn't want the tomb to be found. The people of his day didn't want the tomb to be found. And it's pretty clear that a lot of people in Mongolia itself don't want the tomb to be found. So while I think there might be some utility in expanding the search and in applying all these different archaeological techniques to finding perhaps other historical areas that maybe reveal more about Mongol history, it sounds like the effort to reveal the tomb itself is not something that is wanted by a lot of the parties concerned. So I think maybe it would be best to leave it alone. But hey, people are going to do what they want to do, right? So, if you want to do what you would like to do, please feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. I'll be posting here weekly. If there's anything you'd like me to cover next, please let me know. I got a silly little joke about the Mongols. Hopefully it's not seen as disrespectful. Did you know that the Mongols never really got angry? That's because they were nomads. That's enough silliness for today. Until next time, thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back next week with some more interesting historical tidbits for you.